Amy, what is our first main topic today?
Our first main topic comes to us from Vic Haraguchi. Hey, John. Just watched the new episode of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. I feel like it's really starting to find its stride, and the overall story is starting to take shape. Personally, I thought it was the best episode yet. What did you guys think about the episode, and do you think the whole thing is heading in the right direction?
All right, Vix, thanks a lot for saying that in. And just to let you guys know, a little bit later today at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Amy, the sports fanatic Newman, and Chris, the Greek Carr, will be hosting our Lord of the Rings after show at 3 p.m. Make sure you guys, where they will talk about it in all open, spoilery goodness, all in depth, taking your thoughts and questions as well. So make sure you guys come on back and meet with them then and talk about Rings of Power. But we're going to talk about it in kind of a non-spoilery way right now. All right, little bit of context here. This is my most anticipated show of the last number of years that I've been looking forward to. Episode 1 I watched, not happy with episode 1. It was not, I mean, there were things about episode 1 that I quite liked. Things about it I liked. But overall, I was fairly disappointed. I actually almost gave up on the show after the first episode. Saw episode 2. I thought episode 2 was a significant improvement over episode 1. So like, all right. You got me back on board here. Episode 3 came out last night. All right. I agree with you, Vic. I think number one, I think this was the best episode of the series so far. I do agree that we are now finally starting to see the outline of what this show is actually about and what our general moving forward kind of narrative is going to be. That's all starting to take shape. And I think we started to really get a sense of identity about what the show is. I agree with all that, and I'll talk about that more in a second. However, let me talk about my ongoing complaint. Here's my ongoing complaint about the show. And it has improved. With episode 3, it has definitely improved. And hopefully by the time we get into episode 4 and 5, it'll be ironed out. But here's my complaint. I mentioned this on the John Campea After Dark last night. Pacing continues to be the biggest problem with this show. And this is how I kind of illustrated it last night, Rob. I want to know what you think about this. Actually, we might have talked about this before. When I watch a show like House of the Dragon, I feel like I am keeping up with the show. They have a scene, they have a point for the scene, they make the point of that scene, and then they move on to the next scene. And I feel like as we're gliding through that show, and I'm keeping up with all the show that is happening. With Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, I feel like I am having to push through. I feel like I am having to endure. Instead of keeping up with it, I feel like I'm having to get through it. And you know, and again, it's all an issue of pacing for me. It's all pacing because the point of a scene gets made and then we linger in that scene for another 2 to 3 minutes. There was a great example of this last night, which I thought was a great episode, but a good example of this where, without going into spoilery detail, Galadriel's on a horse. Why? Why do we need that shot? Why did we need that 35 seconds of screen time? That slow-mo was
killing me.
That was just, okay, that was an example. Okay, I got to just get through this until we get to the thing that has a point, right? Now, once they get to that thing that has a point, I was eating it up, and I was loving that. But pacing to me, and I said this last night, I said, if they had taken the first 3 episodes of Lords of the Rings, had a skilled editor, and had that be 2 episodes. If you had taken those first 3 episodes and condensed them into 2 episodes, I think you would have really been more onto something here. Okay, so now that I got that negative thing out of the way, and pacing is still an issue, but it does feel like it's improving. To me, this was the best episode of the series so far. We are now starting to get a sense of what is going on with Sauron. What is the plan that's taking shape here? Why is this, and this happening with Galadriel? Oh, now we know. We are now finally getting in some characters that are giving grander shape to the overall thing. We're learning a few more things about some characters that we've already known that we're going, aha, and we're starting to get what's going on. A particular emblem that one character happened to be wearing. It's like, oh, okay, yes, now I see you. This is all coming together a lot better now. Pacing is still an issue. I need to see them really dust that up by the time we get into episode 4. But anyway, Ray, you came in, you watched Rings of Power episode 4, or episode 3, I should say. You seem pretty bullish on it.
Oh, you know what? There's just characters that I finally found interesting. The thing that you brought up, I wasn't thinking about it, but you're right. The part where she's on the horse.
Yeah.
And you know what made me mad about that part the most is because of something that the House of the Dragon did. And I realized, other than like garlic hitting a hot pan, the sound of that, I love the sound of horses running. Like just like running,
Galloping.
It's a big, yeah.
It is a very soothing.
And they
sound,
didn't even put that in. I was watching it. I don't even think it was in there. I was like, they omitted one of life's most beautiful sounds. No, I mean, on House of the Dragon, when they're riding through the forest, that sound, I was just listening to it. I was like, man, if I could wake up to just horses galloping sounds.
Well, that's
that'd
why
be
you
awesome.
like the Campea Ranch. So.
yeah.
But you quite enjoy. You came in pretty happy about
I'm
it.
liking this prisoner elf. I don't know what his name is, but I'm liking this dude a lot. Like he is the guy that.
He's not an elf. You mean the
Or
prison-
what with the ears? The guy.
Oh
that
yeah,
was,
no.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
It starts
There's
with
a
an
couple
E. I
prisoners.
can't remember.
I don't know his name yet. I bet you as weeks go on, because like through all the Rings movies, Legolas was the dude right there.
Yeah.
He was the dude. So this is probably gonna be the dude right here for me. So yeah, I can't wait to see what they. It's a lot more brutal than I thought it would be. Some of the things that happened, I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, they do
Yeah.
that? They do that in this fantasy world?
It felt very action sequence, like very like almost, yeah,
Right.
Game of Thronesy for Lord of the Rings.
Before I forget, because I came in and I was talking to Jonathan about this morning too. Okay, so we knew this was happening because it's in the trailer. But when they enter Numenor, my jaw was on the floor. I just there are things you should linger on, and they lingered on that as they entered the Isle of Numenor and everything that it was going to be, and they did these sweeping shots of the entire civilization. It really trying to instill a sense of awe and wonder about what this place is. I was just, oh my God, this is gorgeous. Like it was just, it looks so good, because I see some things like Wheel of Time that was also on Amazon. And when they would do their like entering a kingdom things, it's like, okay, this feels pretty shoestring budget. And to be fair, compared to Lord of the Rings, it was a shoestring budget. But oh my God, this looked amazing. And look, does that look familiar at all? The spire coming out the end, and of course, the white tree. I mean, there are definitely things that we're going to see echoes of later on in Peter's. Anyway, I just thought that was gorgeous. Hey guys, we want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, Athletic Greens. Now, I started taking Athletic Greens because I don't eat enough vegetables, and I was looking for a way to make up for that deficit in my diet of those vitamins and minerals that I really needed in my system, and thank goodness I found Athletic Greens, and I literally take it every morning. You see, with one scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods, source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, all the things. And my wife got onto it, and now she absolutely loves it. You know, tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high-quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb, like Athletic Greens. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with a convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just one scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Campea. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Campea to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Okay, that all aside, Rob, you had a chance to watch Rings of Power episode 3. What were your general thoughts?
Well, I liked the best of the 3 episodes. I thought it was interesting. I am a little concerned. We've now have 3 hours of this show, and we actually have very little narrative. I mean, Fellowship of the Ring was 3 hours, and a lot of stuff happened in it.
Yeah, and I feel like by the end of this episode, we are just finally, that's why I said, I wish they have taken these 3 episodes and done it in 2, because by the time we reach the end of this episode, I feel like, okay, now we're finally starting to get, after 3 episodes, we're finally starting to get an idea about what this story is.
I just feel all of these scenes are strung out, like when Galadriel goes and confronts the queen and has that.
Let's not go into specifics.
Well, that scene goes on a long time. And you're like, I felt like they made the point. I get it. But it keeps going on. And I feel a lot of these scenes just are stretched out
pacing, man.
Yeah, it's totally. I could cut every scene in half, and I thought that there was a lot of really intriguing stuff that happened in this episode. I'm like, oh, okay, it was interesting, but it seems like it's taking 2 or 3 times as long as it should to get where it's going, and I feel that I don't. There's a lot going on, like the Harfoot story. That story just seems so. I'm so not interested in their. It seems to me like, oh, that'll be a replay of Sam and Frodo eventually, but they haven't even gotten around to it yet. I mean, she's going to be the reluctant hero, I guess, Nori, and go out into the world, and or she's going to befriend this stranger, and they're going to. I'm just like, if you're going to do it, do it. Why are we waiting? I mean, it's why is it taking so long for this well-known story to unfold?
Yeah, the stranger thing is starting to gnaw at me. The giant stranger, the Harfoots. The giant stranger that landed in the Harfoots.
Yeah.
Why is everyone looking at me like they don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
But it's like, okay, this guy. That's like, what I don't like. That is not Tolkien. He's not a mystery box story kind of a guy. And this, it feels like with the stranger, it's like
He is very slow, though. His storytelling is very, very
that's
slow.
because there's many breakfasts and there's songs to sing.
Yeah, I mean,
there's things like that.
so I kind of take issue. We say that's not Tolkien. I'm like, actually, it kind of is. But it needs to be adapted.
No. What I mean about Tolkien is he's not a mystery box storyteller. He doesn't have someone show up and like, who is this person? I don't know. That seems like such a modern TV trope. And they'll drag that out for the whole
Well, yeah,
season.
because even in I can't remember which one it was, but Gandalf is like, "What's going on?" And you see him go to that library, and then he opens the scrolls, and he's like, "Oh, it's this,"
Yeah,
so he figures it out.
Well, I mean, that's a movie. You only have
Right.
a finite period of time.
But there's
right?
a lot in this second age. There's a lot they have to cover. I mean, I know it's going to be adapted. It's not going to take them 70 years to forge the rings, but there's a lot that has to go on, and I'm like, you guys better get to this because,
Yeah, but remember, and this is where I get concerned. When you say we got to get to this, in their heads, this is 50 episodes or however many episodes per season over 5 seasons, right? So I think whatever, it's going to be 40, let's say for argument's sake, say 40 episodes. This is a 40 episode thing. So in their heads, we're only 7% into the story so far. Mm-hmm. I need to see the pacing pick up. I think they're setting up some great stuff. I do like the Harfoots. I'm getting more interested in them, but again, it's pacing. It's again, House of the Dragon, I feel like I'm keeping up with it. This, I'm feeling like I'm having to plow through it. And that's not a good feeling as a fan, but even though this was the best episode yet, I think. Anyway, Amy, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's interesting because I think I'm enjoying the Harfoot. That storyline is my personal favorite. I think just maybe sort of the family and the emotional element I'm just connecting with a little more than anything else in the series.
I do wish they'd wash their face once in a while, though. I feel like I can smell the Harfoot.
You just want to give them one of these. Overall, it's beautiful. And I think that's saving a lot of it for me because to me it is getting, I feel like they were like introducing new characters and some new plot stuff. And I was sort of going, no, I can't take more. Like focus in a little bit because there's plot lines we didn't even touch on this episode. So for me, it's feeling a little bloated, a little slow, a little unfocused. But ultimately it is so beautiful that there is just that overarching, like, I'm enjoying being here. I'm enjoying seeing these worlds. I'm enjoying just, spending time back with this level of high fantasy, with this level of budget, which just isn't something we get to see a ton these days, especially on television. So overall, I'm enjoying it, not loving it. I wish we just... I know Tolkien's slow. I know it isn't a Game of Thrones. It is high fantasy, but just a little bit of hitting the gas of, okay, here's what we're doing. I think if we start seeing that in season 4, or episode 4, I'll be
Tolkien's
I'll be on
pacing in books is one thing. That's fine. But you got to understand this is a different medium that played differently. Your pacing has to adapt. You've got to adapt the pacing. It's got to move at a little bit of a quicker pace. And again, so we'll see. Like I said, I'm liking what I'm seeing, but they got to do something about the pacing. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see Rings of Power episode 3? I think the general consensus is that's probably the best one of the franchise so far. Hopefully it looks like they're heading everything in the right direction. They got to step on the gas a bit. Anyway, what do you guys think about it so far? Jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there.